Dark Pictures Anthology House of Ashes.
And this is regarded as the best one in the Dark Pictures series, and thus far, I have to agree with that. And if you really want to know how I feel about it, there's a full playthrough of this game over on my second channel. Yes, that's right, I have a second channel. It's RNG Gaming, the link to it's down below. If you want to see me play some games, well, you can just scoot over there and do that. This is the third game in the series, but they don't have anything to do with each other. They just kind of, they're standalone games. Like a kind of like a serialized TV show like Twilight Zone or something like that. And this is a choose your own adventure game, just like most of Supermassive's games, like Until Dawn, The Quarry, those sorts of games. They're known for these. They do them well. But the story is that the CIA and some US soldiers are trying to locate chemical weapons in Iraq after the fall of Saddam Hussein in like 2003. And they locate an underground bunker using, satellite imagery, only discover that it's actually this like ancient Sumerian temple that houses this ancient evil. And they encounter the Iraqi Republican Army troops and an expedition from World War II as they try to like regroup and discover what's going on and finally escape. They're just kicking around down in this temple, and the Iraqis are down there at the same time, and they're trying to escape, and strange things are afoot, as one would imagine. It's basically like watching a movie or an episode of a TV show. Sometimes you wander around a little bit and you inspect items, or you'll have to do like a quick time event, but most of the gameplay just sort of centers around making decisions. So you'll have like a dialogue with two characters talking with each other, and one of them will say, what do you think? Should we booby trap the door? And it'll give you an option with a timer saying like, I think that's a really bad idea, or hell yeah, let's do that dumb idea. And there are repercussions, and it can change the characteristics of whatever character you're playing. The way these characteristics sort of develop over time and the relationships between these characters evolve based on what you pick. You can get different endings, and certain characters can die and certain characters can be saved, and that sort of thing. And you're basically trying to either, you can do whatever you want. You can kill all the characters, which I like to do sometimes, or you can try to save all the characters, which is what I usually opt to do, honestly. But usually it's a mix of some. And it certainly was for me playing this. I tried my best. I really did in this one, but I almost got like everybody killed. And from what I see online, there are over a freaking 100 different endings in this game. It seems fun to try the different options, but I don't know, man. 100 endings seems crazy. They're probably just minor little slight variations with like one different line of dialogue, but from what I can tell, there's maybe like 5 or 6 real different endings. Now, in most of these games, you usually play as like dumb teenagers or young 20-year-olds, and that's not the case in this one. These characters are all really like apt at what they do and good at what they do. They're just in a bad situation, which leads me to my favorite character from any Supermassive game. It's freaking Salim. Now, Salim is a lieutenant, I believe, in the Republican Guard. So he was one of Saddam's troops. He was conscripted, of course, and drafted into the army. But now that Saddam Hussein's been captured and the war's over, he's just kind of like heading home. He gets drawn into this. His old army captain comes and gets him. It's like, you got to defend the city. And he's like, the war is freaking over. What are you doing? And his old officer basically pulls a gun on him and like forces him back into battle. He doesn't want to be there, but he is an extremely capable character. He's like the most capable character I've ever seen in any freaking horror movie. He figures everything out just like a normal person would. He communicates it to all the other people in the movie, or not the movie, the game, in like a minimal amount of words with no mistakes and no way that it could be misinterpreted. He can like freaking kill. He's the only one in this game that kills any of the bad guys. Like no one else ever does it. They screw it up every time. But Salim is a total badass, and he basically breaks the stereotype of every other horror movie character or video game character I've ever seen. And he's awesome. He's freaking great. They need more characters like this and more games. Just capable characters, and you're like, I can rely on this guy to do something to help everybody out. Where normally you're like, this guy's gonna freaking screw everything up, because they always do. It's cool, right? It's a comedy of errors in a horror game. But not in this one. Salim, he saves the freaking day time and time again, and you're like mad at the other characters for letting him down. Now, all of the Dark Pictures Anthology games, they are budget games. And they just are, right? One comes out every year. It's like a budget title, they're 30 bucks or something. But it does look good on the PS5. There were a few weird lighting glitches, but nothing super serious. You know, like the inside of people's mouths looked like they had a light bulb in them. That's fine, you know, that could happen to anybody walking down the street, right? The music was also fine. Thinking about it, I can't remember any of it, but at the time, I remember thinking it was pretty good. And you know, the voice acting in this was surprisingly good. And it stars freaking Ashley Tisdale, you know, from freaking Disney Channel fame, right? I wasn't expecting Ashley Tisdale to be in this game, running around as a freaking CIA operative, dropping the F-bomb every 15 seconds. I wasn't expecting that, man.
Well, congratulations. I guess I'm going to be the understudy in case you can't make one of the shows, so break a leg.
Good luck.
But she was really good in this. She did a good job acting in a serious role. She never said anything funny the entire game. This was the best Dark Pictures Anthology game I've played. There's only one more that's out that I haven't played, The Devil Within or whatever it's called. The Devil in Me, Me and the Devil. Don't row the devil in the boat because you're the one that's got to row him back to shore. What's that saying? I don't know. It doesn't matter. This is the best one, but it's the least scary one too. It's very actiony. It's hard to like feel like the main characters or the characters in the game are like they're in danger because they're all freaking like special forces soldiers, every one of them, right? They're extremely capable. I was like, it's going to work out in the end. How could it not? But it was the coolest setting, just the least scary. And the characters were the most believable of any of the games. All the other ones, I'm like, their decisions never make sense. Even though you're making the decisions in these games, I was like, no one would ever make either one of these. You would never end up in this situation, right? You would never walk into like a haunted diner, obviously, when your car broke down in a spooky ghost town. Of course not. Why would you ever do that? These people just fell into a freaking ancient Sumerian temple while they were doing their jobs. That could happen to any of us. I could fall through the floor right now and end up in an ancient Sumerian temple. There might be one, you know, in Alabama. That being said, it still isn't as good as Until Dawn, another game they did that's much longer that has even less believable characters, but it's a better game. It just is. It's their best game. I'll die on that hill. Dark Pictures Anthology House of Ashes is a good game. It is a 7 out of 10 game. That is good. It's good.